watching AppleTechBeast.
This is AppleTechBeast with my update video, or kind of update video, on the Keynote, Apple Keynote for March 2015. Now, many people were expecting the Apple Watch to be sort of unveiled and released in this keynote, and they were right. So I'm going to get on with this video, and also the new, completely redesigned MacBook has been announced. I'm not actually sure whether it's the MacBook Air or what it's called, because they didn't really mention it that much, but it's a new MacBook and it's flipping amazing, so I will tell you all about that in a second. So at the start of the keynote, they sort of talked about the new stores in China, or the new store in China, which looked really, really cool. They've got new, sort of, all the really cool architecture that they usually have in the Apple stores. And then Tim Cook said about the 120 million customers that visited their stores last quarter, which is crazy. It shows how popular their stores really are. Then he said about Apple TV and how they're adding more and more sort of services to the Apple TV, and then he talked about the HBO, I think it was, yeah, the HBO Now service. It's $14.99 a month, dollars that is. I don't think it's available here. It might be though, and you can watch Game of Thrones on that, because HBO is a Game of Thrones is a HBO thing, and loads of other things that I've never heard of before, but yeah, that's quite cool. So they're adding loads more stuff for Apple TV, and Apple TV is now $69 instead of $99, which makes it available to loads more people, which is really, really awesome. So the next thing they talked about is the iPhone. So they said that they've just sold their 700 millionth iPhone, which is absolutely incredible, and they are still the #1 selling smartphone in the world, which is kind of weird, because everyone's sort of saying how good Samsung Galaxies are and how many features they have over the iPhones, but I suppose iPhones, they just sort of feel better in their hand, got better cameras and all that sort of stuff, so yeah, people like them better, obviously. Tim also said how the iPhone has still, or the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus has got a 99% customer satisfaction rate, which is apparently unheard of, which is pretty incredible. And also then he talked about Apple Pay once again, and he said that they started with 6 banks supporting Apple Pay, and now 2,500 banks are actually supporting it, which is incredible. And also vending machines. Coca-Cola are making vending machines to support Apple Pay, which is really, really cool. So you could just swipe your Apple Watch, as you'll hear in a second, or iPhone, and you can pay for Coca-Cola or something like that. And they're planning to have 100,000 vending machines that have support for Apple Pay in the US by the end of this year. Tim Cook also spoke about Apple... Wait, no, what's it called? Let me just get this right. He spoke about CarPlay. Now that's the thing that you have in the car. It's like on the sat-nav, the inbuilt sat-nav sort of thing. And he said how loads... I think he said every major car brand has committed to supporting Apple Apple CarPlay, which is really, really cool. I don't know what that means as in every major brand, but I assume that's like Mercedes, BMW, Audi. I knew the new Koenigsegg I know the new Koenigsegg has got that, which is really, really cool. But yeah, that's a new sort of thing they're introducing. It was only announced like a year ago, and already all those companies have started supporting it, so that's quite cool. He also spoke about HomeKit and Health on the iPhone, and how Health has 900 apps supporting the category, and then he sort of went on to speak about how the iPhone could be used to aid medical research, which is actually quite interesting. Their thinking is that if 700 million people have bought iPhones before, then if just a sort of tiny minority of those people could just do some simple tasks using the iPhones to contribute to research, then there'd be loads and loads more data for people to take in, and that would mean more accurate sort of research and quicker not diagnosis. Although you can use the sort of, they've called it ResearchKit, and within ResearchKit there are loads of different apps that can diagnose sort of things, some sort of things like Parkinson's disease and diabetes. Somehow, I think they can, with like Parkinson's disease, you can take like a test to see like finger tremors. No, like hand tremors. So you can tap on 2 little dots, and then it can work out like hand tremors, and then it can tell you, or it'll send data off to certain people. But you can also sort of see like how healthy you are and all that sort of stuff in relation to certain diseases and that sort of thing, which is really, really cool. I mean, you can't obviously rely on an iPhone to tell you if you've got Parkinson's disease, but it's just quite cool how you can sort of aid the research using your phone, and it'll be completely free. It's really simple to do, so they're hoping that loads of people will take part in the research, and it's also going to be released next month, and the apps I mentioned at the keynote, like the Parkinson's disease one and diabetes one and asthma, they'll be available now. Tim then showed like this thing on the screen. It was an Apple Watch, and then like an iPhone and an iPad, and then the MacBook, and then an iMac. And obviously we thought, everyone thought he was going to go to the Apple Watch and talk about the Apple Watch, but no, he talked about the Mac next. So this is where the new completely redesigned MacBook comes into play. He showed a video of the new MacBook. It looks incredibly cool. It doesn't even look like it's got hardly any bezel around the screen. The screen looks completely different. It is incredibly thin. I think it's 13.1 millimeters thin, meaning that it's 24% thinner than the previous thinnest Mac. It's got a new trackpad that senses forces. So if you want to say, like, if you don't know what a word means, or if you want to see what someone does, then you simply do a force click on that name, like on a web page or something, and it will automatically know that you're force clicking that, and it will bring up a Wikipedia page for that person, which is really, really cool. It does that with lots of other things like in Finder and that sort of thing, but that's what that new trackpad can do. It's the lightest MacBook at £2, and it also still has that all-metal unibody architecture. However, the one really, really cool thing about this is the batteries and how small they've made the logic board, along with the fact that it's completely silent and has no fans at all, which is really, really cool. I don't know how they've done it, but they've managed to do it. The logic board itself is actually 67% smaller than the old logic board, and the processor consumes only 5 watts, which is crazy. I don't even know how they've done it. And then the batteries, you've got all-day battery life, so you can be browsing online using wireless internet for up to 9 hours, I think, and that's due to the fact that the batteries are layered. So the logic board is really, really small, takes up hardly any room, and then you've got layered batteries that sort of fit with the contours of the unibody Mac, and then it basically fills all the little gaps inside. So you've got an all-day battery life on that, which is incredible. So it's completely silent, an all-day battery life, and it's more powerful than the previous ones, I assume, although they haven't called it MacBook Air, so that might suggest that it's not quite as powerful. I don't really know. Well, they might have called it MacBook Air, I just didn't hear them say it. Another really cool thing that they've added into the new MacBook is the fact that it's got this USB-C technology, which means it's got one single port, like not adapter, like one port on the whole thing, that supports the power, DisplayPort, HDMI and VGA, and USB, and it's a new technology that loads of companies have been working on, but Apple are the first to use it in the new MacBook, and it just saves space, I suppose, and loads of different cables, loads of different ports that save space as well. It's just really, really cool. And then the display is a 12-inch display, and it's Retina as well, as would be expected, and it's a lot thinner and a lot better, as Apple always do with all the different displays. They always improve them slightly. It is the world's most efficient notebook, and it's around $1,400, which is quite a lot. That's like what in the middle of both sort of ends. But it does come in 3 different colours, like the iPhone. So it comes in space grey, I think it comes in gold and silver, which look incredibly cool, as you can see on these screenshots here. But yeah, that is really, really cool, and no one really expected that. And now we're on to the Apple Watch. So first, Tim Cook mentioned about the design of the Apple Watch, sort of what they said in the previous keynote on the Apple Watch, and then he sort of talked about the 18-karat gold one, the aluminium one, and then the steel cases that you can have with all the different watches, and then all the different wristbands you can have, which sort of provide different uses for different ones. So like you've got the sport one, you've got the normal one, which is sort of like the middle of the range one for normal people, and then you've got the I don't know whether it is extremely expensive, because I didn't actually catch the prices of the Apple Watch, although it is around £400, sort of in the middle. It's sort of like $500, £300 starting price-ish, I think, but I didn't actually catch the most expensive price and the least expensive price, so I assume that's around the starting price, $500 to £350 to $500-ish. So yeah, he talked about the design, and then he said how precise the time is on the watch. I don't really know why that would matter to most people, but it's apparently within 15 milliseconds of the UTC, which we don't actually use here, I don't think. In the UK we use GMT or something. But yeah, Tim then went on to tell us about sort of how many different faces you can have on the watch. So you can have like really simple ones, you can have ones that display different notifications like the weather and that sort of thing, or you can just have like a really fun one like Mickey Mouse like they keep showing, or something like that. They've got this thing called Glance, where you can bring the watch up and then swipe up and it'll show you all your notifications and things you want to see, so you can sort of add widgets to that, I assume, and see information that you want to know really, really quickly. You've also got the Taptic Engine, which is basically where if someone wants to contact you and they've got an Apple Watch, they can tap on their screen, and it will give you sort of a feedback that like if they tap twice, you'll get 2 taps sort of felt on your wrist using the little vibration sort of thing inside, and that'll tell you if they want your attention or something like that. You also get little vibrations if you're getting a notification or anything like that. That's quite cool. Apple Watch can actually tell you about your health. It can tell you if you've been sitting down for too long, what you should be doing, and it can actually tell you, like, on 1 week it can sort of monitor your activity and that sort of thing, and then on the Monday morning of the next week it can provide sort of feedback for the whole previous week and what you can do this week to improve to improve on what you did last week, which is really, really cool. It's sort of like having a personal trainer, like Tim Cook said, and it does lots of sort of things like that. It's really, really clever how they've made it do that. Also, you can sort of bring the watch up to your face and say, "Hey Siri," I think, and then it will activate Siri, so you can send texts and calls and make calls and all that sort of thing, as Siri does. You can use Apple Pay on the Apple Watch, so you can swipe your watch or put your watch near whatever you do with Apple Pay and pay with whatever. That was a bad way to put it, but yeah, you can use Apple Pay on Apple Watch, which is kind of expected, but it's really cool. So they released the Apple Watch sort of developers kit in the first keynote on Apple Watch, and loads of developers have made really cool apps. So there's one for Uber, so you can call an Uber pickup and you can see when it's going to arrive and all that sort of stuff right on your watch, so you don't even need to touch your phone. You can also make calls and listen to calls on your Apple Watch. You can read whole emails. It's just really, really cool how they've made it so you can really use your watch properly and do everything that you can do on the iPhone. Just about anyway. I mean, it's a lot smaller screen and it won't be as comfortable to sort of be scrolling on the Apple Watch, but it's really, really cool how they've done that. So you can actually be like, I assume there's an Instagram app because Tim Cook mentioned how you can be scrolling through your Instagram feed on the actual Apple Watch, which is really, really cool. You can also look at your photos from your phone on the Apple Watch and all those sort of things. They are just really, really cool. Also, if you're near an airport that you're going to go to, then it will pull up your boarding pass automatically from the passbook thing on your iPhone, and you can just show the people at the airport your boarding pass on your watch, and then you can go straight onto the flight, which is really, really cool. They all keep doing things like that, which will make it really, really easy to sort of just live. There's also a really, really cool app. I know I keep mentioning these things, but you can actually check into your hotel with your watch, and then you can unlock your hotel room door with your Apple Watch. I don't know how that's even possible, but it's really, really cool. I suppose it's got NFC sort of tags in there and that sort of thing. Now, the one thing that people really want to know about is the battery life on these smartwatches. Now, the Apple Watch has all-day battery life, so up to 18 hours sort of on a normal day, and I just think that's awesome. That's all we need to know. I mean, I want one now, apart from the price, which could be really expensive for especially the gold one, but I'm not too sure about that. Like I've said, I think it's around $350 or $500 sort of in the middle for the normal sort of models, but like I said, the gold one will be very expensive, I would have thought. I've actually heard $10,000 somewhere, but I don't think that'll be true. So to charge it, you just put a magnetic sort of snap charger on the back, which is really, really cool. Just a simple way to charge it. And everything sort of with the Apple Watch is really nicely designed. So, yeah, talking about design, you've got 3 types. You've got the Apple Watch Sport, Apple Watch, which is a standard one, and then you've got the Apple Watch Edition, which is the gold one, which is obviously the most expensive one. So the Apple Watch Sport is made from anodized aluminium, not aluminum, in either silver or space grey. So this apparently makes it really strong, but it means that it performs well and looks great, as well as setting new standards for aluminium alloys or something like that. That's what they said. The Apple Watch will come in 2 cases, both stainless steel, so that's traditional and space black look. And then the Apple Watch Edition is going to be crafted either from 18-karat solid yellow or rose gold. And the Apple Watch will be available for pre-order from April the 10th, and it will start shipping April the 24th, which I'm really, really excited about. I do definitely want one, although I might need to buy an iPhone first. So yeah, like I said, I didn't quite catch the proper the official prices of the Apple Watch. However, I'm pretty sure the sort of middle of the range one is around £350, £300, which is $500. But you just sort of tell me in the comments. I'm sure there'll be information out there now once this is uploaded on what the prices are. But yeah, that was my sort of overview video of the Apple Keynote for March 2015. A really, really exciting one, actually. No one really expected the MacBook to be there, to be announced. And also, it will be available for by preview in stores, the Apple Watch in preview in stores on April the 10th, you can actually go in there and sort of wear the watch and see what they're like, which is really, really cool. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, then like it. If you didn't, then dislike it. And subscribe to see more videos like this, vlogs, unboxings, reviews, and gameplay videos and stuff like that. But yeah, again, comment on the price of the Apple Watch, because I'm not quite sure on that. And also your opinion on the Apple Watch, whether you'd want one, whether you think it's a bad idea to have sort of a thing that you scroll on your wrist. I think I want one, but you know, thanks for watching this video, and goodbye.